living. The prosecution panel of the Department of Justice moves for the consolidation of illegal drug trading charges filed against Senator de Lima for allegedly receiving money from drug lords inside the new Bilibid prison. They also want the court to issue a gag order to the parties and their lawyers. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The Department of Justice filed 3 separate charges against Senator de Lima for allegedly receiving millions from drug lords inside the new Bilibid prison. The cases were assigned to 3 separate branches of the Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court. Now, the DOJ prosecution panel wants the cases consolidated before the sala of Judge Juanita Guerrero of Muntinlupa RTC Branch 204. The panel argues that the cases arose from the same set of facts, there are common parties and issues, and that they will be presenting interrelated evidence before the court.
May rason naman kami doon. We cited Rule 119, Section 22. It's allowed under the rules.
During today's hearing, Judge Guerrero directed de Lima's lawyer to file a comment or opposition in 10 days. The court will rule on the motion afterwards.
We oppose kasi nga we feel that they want Judge Guerrero to hear the case. Well, we know naman that it was Judge Guerrero who issued the warrant of arrest against Senator de Lima.
Of the 3 judges handling the cases, only Guerrero has issued arrest and detention orders against de Lima. The other 2 have yet to determine if there is probable cause against de Lima or if the RTC has jurisdiction over the cases. The DOJ panel also want the court to prohibit the parties from discussing the merits of the case in public. They manifested in open court that Judge Guerrero issue a gag order, but the judge said she will only act on it if a formal motion is filed.
Yun ang directives ni Judge Guerrero kanina, so we will do it ASAP baka sa Monday.
Sino dapat igag?
Ang alam ko, all parties and all lawyers of the parties.
Because they are as if conditioning the minds of the public that the case that are filed against the accused are weak. So it's possible, if possible, for the parties, all parties from the prosecution panel and also from the accused to refrain from saying things that might affect the minds of the public.
If granted, the gag order will cover de Lima and her lawyers and the prosecution panel, but it is not clear yet if it will be applicable to Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre and the President. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Muntinlupa City.
The Highway Patrol Group has urged all victims of Rent Sangla scheme to file formal complaints, especially those who have not yet recovered their vehicles. Aga Kakbay will tell us why.
Over 2,000 vehicles have been lost to Rent Sangla modus operandi remains unrecovered to this date, according to the Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group or HPG. Thus, authorities are encouraging the victims to file formal charges against the syndicate that operates behind the scheme. As of today, the HPG reports a total of 465 recovered vehicles parked at Camp Vicente Lim, while at least 200 had been returned to their respective owners. Last night, the Regional Highway Patrol Group Calabarzon arrested in Santa Rosa, Laguna the alleged mastermind of the region's Rent Sangla scheme, identified as Rafaela Anunciacion alias Ella. Anunciacion's victims are hoping that the case against the suspect will proceed as large-scale estafa, having more than 500 complainants.
Napakarami pang hindi nakukuha. Ay, kami kahit di bayaran, okay lang. Nakuha lang namin yung unit namin, okay na.
Anunciacion appeared today at the Regional Trial Court in San Pedro, Laguna before Judge Francisco Paño of Branch 93 for the return of warrant of arrest. She is now detained at the detention facility inside BGMP San Pedro in Laguna. Aga Kakbay, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Formal charges have been filed against 4 Quezon City policemen who conducted an Oplan Tukhang operation in Quezon City. Monokson will tell us why.
Payatas, Quezon City resident Efren Murillo has filed complaints of frustrated murder, robbery, and planting of drugs and firearms against 4 Quezon City policemen at the Office of the Ombudsman. The 4 Quezon City Police District cops conducted Oplan Tokhang last August 21, 2016 that almost killed the complainant. The respondents are Senior Inspector Emil Garcia, Police Officer 3 Alan Formilieza, PO1 James Agarao, and PO1 Melchor Navisaga, a former QCPD Station 6 cop. Also facing complaints are their informants, namely Leia Barcelona, Mary Joy Ralo, Lori Barcelona, and Richard Andan alias Manok.
The nature of the writ of amparo is also curative, meaning it lays the foundation for the filing of subsequent charges against the perpetrators.
Based on Murillo's statement, he was just playing billiards with his companions when the cops conducted a raid at their place in Group 9, Area B, Payatas, Quezon City. Seconds later, the QCPD policemen shot them, leaving 4 of his companions dead. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeals issued a permanent protection order for Murillo and the relatives of his companions who were killed during the said drug raid. This means the respondents can't go near Murillo and the victim's kin within 1 kilometer radius. The court also ordered the PNP to update the complainant about the investigation the police are conducting.
Ang protection fund ay ginagawad ng privilege ay yung mismong pagiging kautusan ng korte na kapag nilabag, those who violate the protection will be subjected to contempt proceedings. Makukulong sila at bahagi kasi ito ng coercive power ng korte.
The relatives of those killed during the said raid also plan to file complaints against the 4 QCPD policemen. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Office of the Ombudsman.
2 inmates are from the San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm in Zamboanga City will soon start their lives as free men. Marge Navarro will tell us why.
Bureau of Corrections Director General Benjamin de los Santos held a command visit in the San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm in Zamboanga City. During his visit, he announced that 2 inmates of the said prison facility were granted parole by President Rodrigo Duterte. Among those who were granted parole are Bernardo Dayo Jr. of Camiguin Province and Herminihildo Cabrido of Cotabato City. Dayo qualified for absolute pardon for reaching his 10-year minimum sentence, while 72-year-old Cabrido is allowed to go free due to his age. The 2 are part of the first batch of inmates President Duterte granted pardon to. De Los Santos says the pardon of more than 100 parolees from across the country are now being processed. Because of this, De Los Santos says more inmates might be released next month.
Maybe in another month, meron lalabas ulit. Kasi yung proseso ng pag-validate ng kanilang mga records, medyo it takes time, and the Board of Pardons and Parole do not only review those who are eligible for pardon or commutation of sentence, but also those that are eligible for parole.
After inspecting the said facility, De Los Santos encourages other inmates to do good to get a chance to be released.
Magpakabait kayo. Yung 10592, akala ng iba, prospective ang application. Binaliwala ko na yung desisyon yung circular na yun ni De Lima, retroactive. Basta magpakabait kayo.
He also advised Bucor personnel to never commit any mistake that would tarnish the image of the agency, further warning them that he will not hesitate to fire them if they do so. De Los Santos also vows to give them a salary increase through the modernization law. Marge Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte extends his condolences to the bereaved spouse of Sergeant Marson Morales of the Philippine Army who died in a recent encounter with the NPA in Misamis Oriental last February 28, 2017. He is survived by his wife and 2 minor children. At the same time, at the 4th Infantry Division Chapel lies in state the remains of one more hero of the Republic, Private First Class Oshin Rosal, who died in the same area as Sergeant Morales. He is survived by his parents and 8 siblings. Meanwhile, President Duterte gave an award to Private First Class Vincent Ino Lopez, the Wounded Personnel Medal, for injuries sustained during combat against the NPA last February 28 in Misamis.